superstar. Step back three on the way. Oh, it banks in. The throw to the plate. And it's Dangle with a shot. Pasternak scores.
We're back. It's been a while, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clifford Bonet of the Boston Power Hour. Wow, I still remember my fake script that I should have memorized. We've been doing this for quite a while now. But ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I got the number 7. Shout out to Compound with the hat. It's green. It's number 7. It's juice. You guys know how I roll. I like the juice. And the reason that I like the juice is because Jaylen Brown is one of my favorite players, man. Not to say he is the most talented player, ladies and gentlemen, but he is one of the most consistent. But we have plenty of time to talk about that, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an amazing run so far. We're going to just do the Celtics today, all right, as I'm setting things up. I'm not looking right at you guys, so don't be offended. Don't be offended.
Jaylen Brown early odds right now on becoming the MVP.
I fucking was going to take a ride, but you were working.
Your ride already.
There you go. Let's get him. I got my boy Babs on the mic. What's going on, brother?
Hey, we're here. NBA Finals, and the Celtics are up 1-0 right now. Woo! The Celtics are 3 games away from the NBA championship. Could I believe it? No. I said Nets in 6.
You did.
I said Bucks in 6.
You did.
I said Heat in 6.
You did. What are you saying now?
Warriors in 6. I'm
6?
saying Warriors in 6.
Nah, that's
Do
ugly.
I believe
6,
it?
6, 6?
Do I believe
Lie.
it?
Say 7 or something. Don't say 6, 6, 6.
6, 6, 6, 6.
Those numbers
There's
are ugly.
4 6s.
6. Oh, okay. All right. You're right. You're right.
The Celtics are unbelievable. It's just such a magical run that they've been on. Just going back, man, we've been covering the Celtics here and there when we have the chances to be in the studio. Glad to be back here in the Cliff Notes Project studio, sponsored by Anheuser-Busch Boston. Mm-hmm. The Celtics sweeping the Nets, being able to go 7 games toe-to-toe against the Bucks. And yes, they were down Chris Middleton, but you got to also understand the Celtics are banged up as well, too, especially with Rob Williams and Marcus Smart, and they have their own issues going on. To go, again, toe-to-toe against the Miami Heat, which I want to talk about a little bit later. Mm-hmm. We've already recapped some of that in the past, but here, right now in the NBA Finals, Cliff, when I found out the Boston Celtics were going to the NBA Finals and they were playing the Golden State Warriors, this was the most comfortable matchup that I think that the Celtics have had the entire playoff run.
Yeah.
Because if you watch the Boston Celtics over these last few years, they match up so well against the Golden State Warriors. They have their number.
Yes, they do.
You look back just in the season alone, when the Celtics were scorching hot at the time, the Celtics held the Warriors, I believe, like 37 points in the first half.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that.
And yes, Steph Curry got hurt, but before Steph Curry got hurt, he still wasn't doing anything.
Nope.
So watching the last game, game 1, it was frustrating to know this team's way better. This team, the Celtics team, is way better than what they were performing out there. Clamp down on defense. Stop leaving Curry wide open. Stop leaving shooters wide open. You have like Otto Porter out there.
Otto Porter.
Or like slamming threes, man. And to be on the cusp last game, Cliff, and look at the third quarter. And they were outshot, I think it was 38-24 in the third quarter. And be like, oh, there it goes. It's another one of those games they're going to lose because of that. But the Celtics, at that time, going into the fourth quarter, they didn't show quit. They stayed fighting. This team stays fighting to the very end. A lot of NBA teams out there will just quit, give up, we'll go to the next
game.
They didn't do that. And having that logic in your mind, what an amazing fourth quarter that was.
Can I just jump on here?
Go ahead.
And I know this is your weekly rant, but I'm stealing the show right now because you know why, ladies and gentlemen? My rant, before I go to my original rant, I'm throwing a curveball at you, Spike. I'm sorry. I just called you Spike because it was Spike-ish what you just did. And it wasn't just you. It was you and my wife. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, before the Celtics, got to the finals with the Warriors had to play a team. They had to play the Dallas Mavericks. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a text by someone, not going to say who. He knows who it is. He's like, yo, we should bet it all. What are you talking about? Ready to cash. Yes. You heard him. You heard the sigh, right? He said, I think we're getting a sweep. I said, but it's Luka. I didn't even say to him, I just left the text alone. I put the phone down. I walked away. I was working with my wife that day at the clinic. And I said, babe, Brian's saying we should put it all. She's like, do it, ride the wave. She had the audacity to say, ride the wave. And then I'm saying to myself, we got $500-something. Yeah, it's nice. It would have been $1,100. But this is Luka. I said it to you guys before. He's like the second coming of Larry Bird. He's not going to allow a sweep. But you know what? I rode with my boy. Like bad boys. You know what I mean? We ride together. We're going to die together. And we died, ladies and gentlemen. But here's the funnier part, Babs. I don't know if I told you this. The Warriors, guess what they did? They made a comeback. I went to sleep at halftime, and my wife wants to wake me up with, I don't know how many. He's like, babe, they're coming back. They're 8 points down. 8 points? I'm like, okay. They lost. I'm over it. But my real rant, ladies and gentlemen, my real rant. I just wanted to say that because I like to see his face.
No, that's bullshit. First of all,
no, it's not bullshit.
No, first of all, I had the gut feeling the Warriors were going to win Game 3.
He did,
and I went up there and I went to the Brook and slapped down a big bet, and everyone's like, "That's crazy! What are you doing?" And I look at the odds and say, "Wow, the Warriors are 2-0, and they're underdogs going into Dallas. Like they look good at the time; they look red hot." And I did say they would drop a game and it would be Game 4. And then I just contradicted that because then I was like, we got to ride it all. The Warriors are going to sweep. They haven't swept since they won the NBA Finals like in 2018 or whatever it was. I was like, they're going to sweep. But you're right. Luka needed a moment. He needed that time to showcase that he is going to be that next guy, right?
Yep.
And the Dallas Mavericks are that next team.
Yeah,
that they need to put in, they have to invest into.
And you're my boy, so I had to ride with you. The missus said, ride the wave.
I'm not the only one who's riding solo here. I had T-Guns with me riding on the bet. You want to bet for tonight? The bet tonight?
What we betting?
Jason Tatum over 26.5 points. I'm taking that. You take it all the way. We already put 300 down on that.
Ooh.
Jason Tatum over 26.5.
Do we have anyone in New Hampshire right now?
Myself.
Do we have anyone in New Hampshire right now, or do I have to take a ride?
Anyone who's watching right now in New Hampshire, you have a sports book. This is why Massachusetts needs a sports book right now.
Like, come on
the show. That's what we could have done.
It makes no sense. We could do it live, but we digress.
Yep.
All right, back to my okay. So obviously you've been paying attention to the media, right?
Yeah.
The media's like, oh, guess what? And you know what? I'm gonna get flack. Scal, you're my guy. But dude, the ball washing you're doing for Tatum for 13 assists. Like, I get it. I know what the assist is. You're a former NBA player. You was a good player a lot, even though people be hating on you. I know your stats, player. But he had a bad game. Salute Eddie House, because I like to watch our local programs. I'm a local guy. And I was like, let's see what Scal and Amina, shouts to Amina, and Eddie House, what they had to say. Eddie House was like, are you crazy? He was saying, are you crazy? 13 assists, but how many points? And guess who else agreed with this take? Al Horford. You know who he said why they came back and won? Jaylen Brown. I don't understand why media, for whatever reason, I understand. Jason Tatum is the next one. He's super gifted. I get it. But right now, he's just not your alpha. And that is okay. It is okay. They should kind of go back and forth.
Well, I agree with that now, because how many times have I harped on this season that Tatum isn't a killer? Tatum isn't the guy. And the Celtics fans will say, you're wrong. The guy is the guy. And how many times in this playoffs that he's just completely disappeared? But I will say it's okay. I mean, they won Game 1, so it doesn't matter what the stat line is. The only stat that matters, 1. 1 win, 1-0. That's how you started off with. I have to keep reminding myself and yourselves as well too. These guys are still young.
Yeah.
JB and Tatum.
24, 25.
The fact of the matter is, if they can beat the Golden State Warriors and win, the dynasty's actually going to be coming here in New England again.
Yeah.
And I can feel an 80s dynasty happening where they win 3 in 6 years. They can kind of make that Golden State dynasty.
Yep.
And speaking of Golden State's dynasty, this is it for them.
Yeah.
Like this is the last chance to do it. And it's Curry now on the cusp of, hey, do you want to go 3-3 in the finals and be kind of like here? Or do you want to go 4-2 in the finals and kind of be now starting to be compared with like the Kobe Bryant out there? Like, no one's touching the Jordan, but like you're really etching yourself in there and have 100%. A case to be over LeBron in certain categories for the fan arguments out there. This is a big, meaningful series right now for the Golden State Warriors. I don't want this. Just now that they won a game is awesome. I don't want them to now lose the next 4, the Boston Celtics.
No.
they need to be at least 7 games. Like, if you're going to lose a series and you won the first game, it's going 7 at least if you're going to lose a series. You cannot lose it in 6 right now. You cannot drop 4 out of the next, you can't drop 4 out of the next 5 games, right?
Right.
You can't do that right now. You look too damn good. You look unstoppable when your team has it together.
It's too bad our team, and even though all teams right now, right, they're, it's fair to say all teams are hurt. Everyone's a little banged up, but man, when you talk about banged up,
we're
so lucky.
Rob Williams,
come on,
completely banged up.
Come on,
I would bench him tonight.
I wouldn't play him.
I wouldn't play him because you're up 1-0 in the series. You already stole the game on the road.
House money.
And it's just pretty much house money. I have a bad feeling about tonight, just in the sense of referees. They let the game flow. Game 1, It was fast paced back and forth. I had people texting me. This is a great time because not everyone watches all 82 games of the regular season, and not everyone's going to watch every single playoff game. When it's the finals on, everyone's paying attention in the city. And that's fine to have that. To see people saying, wow, this is awesome, back and forth, fast-paced threes and that, and this and that, and there was no fouls really called.
Yep.
You're going to get a lot of ticky-tack fouls called tonight.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to see, and I think it's going to favor the Golden State Warriors a little bit. They can't have the Golden State Warriors go down 0-2.
No,
the Golden
it's not
State
good for
Warriors
the NBA.
go down 0-2, it's over. Like, I really think the Celtics would sweep because that's demoralizing to host those first 2 games at home, to be the Golden State Warriors, to be the dynasty of now. Like, you are that team right now, and you're down 0-2 to the Boston Celtics.
And then to come to our house?
And then come to our house. But that's great for the Boston Celtics' sake. The dynasty's beginning. Like, it's being there. It's there. The energy has shifted. That tweet and that saying is the start of the dynasty of the Boston Celtics. That's the way I look at it. When people look back at like 2001 and the Patriots, what's that moment that made the New England Patriots where they are? It wasn't the Super Bowl win. There's little things that happen. It could have been the Bledsoe hit, right?
Yep.
It's little things that happen in the season. That's the area that you're going to be looking at for the Boston Celtics, is that Jaylen Brown tweet, how the team went on a run, and the team is facing adversity right now through injuries, and they go through 2 Game 7s, and they have an 8-2 record on the road.
On the road.
And the Golden State Warriors were undefeated at home, and you went on the road and defeated them in the 4th quarter. It's just
when you were down, how many points? 12, 15?
Yeah.
Points? Like, come on.
And shout out that they were hitting everything. Yeah. But again, when you go back to it, Al Horford, shout out to Al Horford. Because he knows this could be it for him.
Yeah.
He's got another year in his contract. He's making about $24 million next year.
29 if we win.
29. Like, let him make his money. That's fine. He deserves this moment. He deserves 100%. This championship, because you're going to end up having future role players that come on with Brown and Tatum that are going to now want to play here because they see the championship vibe that's going on.
That's right.
And again, Ime Udoka, like, a lot of questions about him at the very beginning, and especially how the season started off. But to get this team together, like, he is a head figure that keeps this team in line.
Can I ask you a quick question? I'm going to jump around because I did put a couple of things in our notes, right? So with Ime, first of all, big shout outs to Ime by sitting Marcus Smart basically the whole 4th quarter, only with 2 minutes. I'll tell you why. The coach said, I see a mismatch here. We're hitting shots. Don't mess up the flow. Marcus, sit here. Let these guys do what they need to do. Jaylen is distributing the ball appropriately to the right people, going to the hoop, getting his 10. Al is hitting his buckets out there. We need shooters. And this is, to me, what really blew my mind, is the fact that Marcus Smart came into the game thereafter. And what did he do? He started hitting threes. He started to hit threes. That's a problem for Golden State. But even more, it's, to me, a great coaching job that Ime was able to say, wait a minute, you know what? Crucial timeout. This is what we're doing. Made a substitute here and there. Marcus, have a seat. We're putting our pure shooters out there.
You know, I agree in that sense too, Cliff, that you call these timeouts. These aren't babies, they're men, and they understand their roles, right? You said that earlier, understanding your role. We were talking about that off camera. These players now understand that role. The NBA basketball, NBA and the players are so ego-driven, it's all about them.
Yep.
Because you can control the game. You have the ball in the palm of your hands.
Literally.
So I'm glad that the Celtics have found out to know the role. Tatum's having a bad night.
Yeah.
At least he can make it up facilitating the ball, trying to grab rebounds, still at a double-double. That's why I say I'm not going to totally go against him in his stat line, right?
No. But
to have a guy like Jaylen Brown knows he's hot, let him take it.
Yep.
Let him roll with it. And everyone kind of feels that. Horford's hot, let him take it. Let him roll with it. This team is bought into the system.
Yeah.
It's a system. There's never anything wrong about a system. People try to crap on the Patriots about having a system quarterback. It's the system that works. If the system works, you're going to win games. You're going to win championships.
You know who craps about the system? Losers.
Losers crap about it because they want to have that system.
Yep.
But also to call those timeouts was a reminder that when you're coming down with the ball, not to take a stupid shot. Because how many times have they come down and just, you look at them like, why are you doing that? You're up 5 points, 6 points, and you're trying to take a 3. Like, no, get down in the paint, get a good shot, get an open shot. So
wait a minute, is that a cue for me to just show the fans this play? Huh?
That's a good shot, by the way.
I think it's a great shot.
Great shot.
I'm going to say this.
Great shot.
Real basketball players are supposed to do that.
Yep. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Because
Nope.
you know what? I think this guy was like, I'm fucking tired.
Stop.
Let's kill them.
Stop your nonsense of,
Yeah.
well, Jimmy Butler is 20.3% behind the 3. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
He played 48 minutes.
Yep.
That he played the entire game. He was the guy who got them to game 7. He channeled like an inner LeBron. Game 6 to come into Boston and put up 47 points, I believe, or 45 points in Boston to carry them to game 7. He's allowed to take that shot. Because let me tell you something. When we're at Big Night Live doing the watch party and everyone's looking up and the Celtics had like a 13-point lead and just completely shat on themselves.
Yep.
Jimmy Butler goes up with that shot. Everyone's heart stopped.
Because
that was an open shot by their best player on the team, and he wants to get the dagger. He wants to get the kill. He ain't trying to go to overtime. He's tired, as you said. It's game 7. That's a do or die moment, and
an
that's
alpha
what makes
move.
legends, and that's an alpha move, and that's fine because guess what? No one should be crapping on him for taking that shot.
No.
They give him credit, and that's what we're doing.
Yep.
So it was a great shot by Jimmy Butler, and you give him respect for it.
100%. And I think Jimmy Butler, it's too bad, right? I think that he might be one of these guys that have a really, really good career, but unfortunately just doesn't win a ring. A lot of the younger generations have no idea who Charles Barkley is. They're like, oh, there's just this fat guy talking shit on TNT. No, he's probably one of the greatest power forwards to ever play, like, period. Like, he was a monster. He literally brought his team to the NBA Finals, and then he ran into his best friend, Michael Jordan, that won the game.
And if I'm Charles Barkley, and I would speak for him, I'm sure he would give up a lot of things just to have a ring.
100%.
Just to have the championship ring.
Yeah.
Many people that had been there in the cusp that have gotten there would do a lot to just give up something in their life for that ring, for that moment that you earned and to get there. So
especially when he was the type of player that he was, where he wasn't just he was a superstar.
Yep.
Superstar. That's why he made the Olympic team, the original Olympic team, ladies and gentlemen. You know, and I kind of feel bad sometimes when I have to see people try to make fun of him or whatever, and I'm like, man, that's trash. But again, salute Jimmy Butler. I think he's really dope. Hey, if you want to come and play with the Celtics, what's up?
This is going to be now the interesting part of the Boston Celtics, win or lose now.
Right.
You know, again, you can't lose the next 4 straight. If you're losing in this series, it's got to be 7 games if you're going to lose this now. You're up 1-0. Is Boston going to be a destination for free agents, certain free agents or certain players that are towards the end of their career that still have a little juice left in them that they can do something?
Mm-hmm.
I think, yes, it's time to kind of jump on this wagon. These guys are still young.
Yep.
I've said this before about Tatum, and I read this today. I said that Tatum's a guy that wants to play for the Lakers, right? Mm-hmm. Like I said, he's going to leave and play for the Lakers. And I think them getting to the finals and getting over that hump was now solidifying, in my mind, the comfortability that he's staying. And someone said this today. There's a lot of comparisons with the Tatum and Kobe Bryant. First and foremost, I don't know why people are hating Jason Tatum for idolizing Kobe Bryant.
It's stupid.
Like, why are you hating him? I think it's just jealousy. Number one, like the armband, right? in the text message, or him kind of wearing the same practice outfit that Kobe wore when he had the workout with the Celtics, and they're crapping on him on Twitter about it. He's idolizing someone he grew up as, and he wants to be that guy. So someone says, you know how he can be Kobe? He stays with the same team for his entire career. That's I heard that, read it, and I was like, oh my God, maybe Tatum will be what Kobe was to the Lakers. He does it for the Celtics.
Yeah.
And he stays here for the entire career. I actually think this, if the Boston Celtics win the championship, does number 0, does number 7, and does number 36 get retired in the rafters instantly? Because like they already retired Pierce and KG off of 1 ring. And you see where this team's going to be going. Are these guys that watched that KG retirement, looked up and said, that could be us?
I want
see
that.
See how they're all together?
Yeah.
You know, some are now media personalities like a Perkins or a Scal. Now Eddie House is involved. When Scal also was a coach in the past. You might see Big Ben, Big Baby Glenn Davis, who's running in with the law, and but
he's
people
not even
still
supposed to
love
be
him,
a mass.
and they think he's funny and he's a comedian. Like, this team, when you win, you can live off of that for a long time.
Right, yeah.
Like, he can look at these guys, like these people, these young kids, they look at these guys that were in 2008 and 2010 team and like, oh wow, like they became something after basketball.
It's a residual effect of being a winner, right? And understanding your role. And Eddie House, and again, I'm going to say it again, I watch a lot of local media, right? Boston Sports Tonight, I think it is, BST. Eddie House said it clearly. He said, because they asked him a question, hey, does your routine change? How do you feel when you're in the finals? He says, I was a role player. I don't know what the superstars were feeling, but this is how I felt. So even right there, he's acknowledging that, hey, I understand my role. Even though I'm a media person, I can only speak on what I've experienced and what I've seen and what has been told to me. To answer your question, as far as retiring those numbers, I think obviously, it's a little early, right? But I think having Tatum and Brown continue to win the way they win. Sorry, D Brown. That little dunk contest was cool with pumping the Reebok pump, but that 7 doesn't belong to you anymore. This is the new Brown.
Yeah.
And to me, I have to just tell people, I have to ask you this. Do you think he's not getting like the respect that he deserves? Because I listen to people and they're always like, he'll put 30, 40 points up. He's the most consistent Celtic right now, field goal percentage, but they'll focus so much on his shortcomings.
Oh my God. Cliff.
They'll
crap on him for his ball handling towards the end of the games, but these are the same fans that will shy away and talk bad about Tatum when Tatum's having a bad shooting night.
Right.
No,
I don't get it.
Well, he facilitated the ball 13 times, Cliff.
Yeah.
But did you see JB? Yeah, he scored 30 points, but he has bad ball handles.
I don't.
Like, it's like, what are you doing?
What is that? Is it because of where they came? Like,
Jaylen Brown is just as much of a superstar as Jason Tatum. They were drafted the same pick, just 1 year apart. If that was a guy, Jaylen Brown goes to a different team, he's their guy. He's their main superstar. You have 2 superstars on the team, and they're both up and coming still. They're still learning. Guess what? Brown's going to get better at his ball handling, just like Tatum's going to get better at his mid-range.
Exactly.
Like, they're just going to get better as they go. If they can win a championship now, holy shit, you really have a dynasty being made, because you know what they're going to do? We could do this again.
We could do this again. Yeah.
Just like Steph Curry and them.
Yep.
They built that up there. Yep. And they said, we could do this again. We can do this again. We can own the league. And they did.
That's right.
They did that.
And we just want to hope that there's one thing, because I've always said
talent too, and Kanye sees that, and I think that's also Jaylen Brown needs an extension, and I think in the NBA there's only certain ways that you can get extensions.
Yep.
This way is to make some money.
Yeah,
getting with Kanye West, I love Kanye West. Getting with him is a way to ensure yourself of money, getting you the recognition, because he's the first athlete, I believe, or basketball player.
Aaron Donald's the second, but yes, he was first.
To sign with Donda Sports. So I think that's very, very important that Jaylen Brown's the first one, and that Kanye sees that.
And you know what? Not for nothing. I think because I'm not sure if you're familiar with Yeezys, but like those are hella popular shoes. Yeah. Kanye creates whatever and they sell.
Yeah.
You know what? So maybe Jaylen Brown is like, hey, this is a great move. You have Tatum basically with Jordan. this might be a secondary Jordan type of thing situation.
I also look at it too in the sense of Boston needs to be a landing spot, right? Boston needs to be the landing spot for the free agents. Oh, well, we have Donda Sports. Kanye has now, people love Kanye and love his music. Oh, well, Jaylen Brown is actually signed with them. So maybe that might sway you to be like, oh, maybe I'll go play in Boston and I have a chance to meet Kanye West. And maybe I can pitch him my crazy idea from a basketball player. Jason Tatum is, the next NBA megastar and they're putting him on NBA 2K and stuff. Boston's going to start getting a lot of attention in a good way that way.
I agree.
And the city right now, as you see it, they're building everything up.
Oh my goodness.
So it's not as bad coming into the city.
Right.
I think the one thing that hurts the city that people try to keep going back on, Cliff, is racism.
Yep.
And I think that it's another scapegoat that the haters will keep using.
Yep.
But it's like their whole team is pretty much black.
But we also talk.
We have a black head coach.
But we also talked about it, right?
Head coach that wins. Yeah, go ahead.
But just not to cut you off. But I apologize. But I think we talked about it. The culture's changing.
The culture's changing.
Things
in
changing.
Boston. Yes.
Things is changing. Like it's changing.
Yeah.
Why do you think? Why do you think that? And I'm sorry, having a brain fart with the Red Sox. Why do you think that they brought the coach back? He relates with the players.
Yeah.
Culture. Why do you think, again, people probably will look at us 10 years and be like, hey, those guys were right. Cam Newton. We gave Cam Newton a lot of props. The culture.
The culture, it's taken its time, but the boomer generation's on its way out.
For sure.
No offense to the boomers out there. It's just that type of generation is out the door. And it's the newer generation of the young guys like me and the younger ones that, we're trying to be with the culture and just adapt all together. We're all on the same fucking team.
Exactly. You're absorbing the culture. It's around you. You love the fucking music. You like the food. You like everything. You know what I mean? It's dope.
I hope that stigma starts slowly going away, and that's why I hope that the Boston Celtics, and I think when it comes to culture, and let's just say black culture and white and black culture having to mix together, football is like that, right?
Yeah.
But football is your white quarterback and your black wide receivers, and it has to be certain color per position, right? Because that's the way people see it.
Yep.
I think if the Boston Celtics can go on a little run here in the next 5 years, you're going to have both cultures really mix in together.
Yeah.
And you're going to see that in the city, and I think that's going to really evolve into something awesome. You said the culture and the shift is changing here.
Yeah.
You see it through basketball.
And now let's talk about even the culture has changed as far as how coaches are coming up, how GMs are coming up, right? And I say this. You have Brad Stevens here. You have Danny behind him. Danny was a player. Danny was immediately from a player to a GM, right?
Yep.
Brad Stevens, he was a coach, college coach, came to the NBA, started to feel a little bit of success. Then people were like, maybe he's run his time. Then he gets immediately upgraded to GM status. To me, this was amazing, and I only see it now because I think he probably has conversation with Ime. Ime probably says, hey, I need this. Stevens is like, okay, I understand because I was there last year. Let me go get someone that can help you. Let me fulfill what it is. Let me do my job. I understand my role as a GM right now, right? And he brings in this guy. He plays a perfect game. And I mean perfect by not scoring and lightening up, but the energy. Did you see the play when he just ran down, stealing balls? He's shooting threes. Yes, he had a baby, and people are saying, oh, this is why his game was off. Whatever the case may be, Brad Stevens identified a need either by himself or speaking with his current coach, Ime.
Yeah.
And they made the change.
I mean, Brad instantly, just in the season alone, undid some of what Danny Ainge did, got Horford back and got Daniel Tice back.
Yeah.
Like just doing that right away.
Yeah.
And then Derek White, it's funny, actually, I was looking back when they first got Derek White and I mispronounced and said Devin White because when I were talking, I mispronounced sometimes.
Okay,
and I talked about it and said it on the show when he first was back in mid-February. I said, I believe they were playing the Raptors or something like that, and it was his hustle, and I talked about it. 38 seconds left, and White drives down right away, scores two because they know they can go for a 2-for-1.
Right.
That's White's type of game. And already Ime sees that, and he knows in certain situations he's going to get that out of White. Is Derek White going to have an awesome night every single night? No. Like, it's not going to happen.
No.
It's not sustainable. Is Al Horford going to score 26? No. Average Al is going to end up having 2 points tonight. But he'll make it up in other ways,
Correct.
defensively, rebounds, however it might be. But I'm glad also. I think Brad Stevens realized that his time was up because he can't control the locker room.
Right.
He can't control those guys.
Culture again?
It could be that culture. It could be him being too timid and just saying, like, I just don't feel that I have the power. But he has a relationship with these guys.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about the move, too. It's like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart should not be afraid to go to Brad Stevens and tell him how it is.
Right.
And Brad should be able to hear them out.
Yep.
And then they understand and respect each other.
Yep.
But now Ime is their dad.
Right.
Ime is the dad that's coming in and says, nah, we're doing it this way. You listen to me. Like, I'm here. Like, I'm here. Just show respect. Air it out. And that's what this team did.
Yeah.
They had to find themselves.
Yeah.
And it's so great that this team is at the NBA Finals right now. We're going into Game 2 tonight, and they could have been an under 500 team this year if things went south.
Yeah.
And we would just be questioning everything right now, just like we were at the beginning of the season, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and I think if people listen to not just us, but listen to the players and listen to what Horford is saying, he said that, you know, they knew they had some things to do, but they started to see the change. They started to see chemistry. Then even, Time Lord Williams, he was like, one day he just said, hey, I'm tired of losing, man. And Jalen was like, don't worry, the energy's about to shift. Like, these guys knew. They stepped up. And then, again, ladies and gentlemen, I think the perfect thing was that Ime jumped around in the league. He was never a superstar. He was a role player. So he understood everyone's position and what it meant. So I think he took a step back and was like, hey, Brad, we need this.
I like that he comes from the Popovich tree.
Yeah.
And like we talk about coaching trees when it comes to football. I mean, Ime comes from that Spurs like type of learning, like as Popovich is on his way out of the league right now. His time is kind of past him already.
Right.
And you'll never have another Spurs dynasty as what you had. I'm glad that he's probably carried some of Popovich's what he's done in the past to the Celtics team. So it's good to have that as well too. I mean, Ime, imagine being him and just being the rookie coach and you're in the NBA Finals already and players want to play for you.
Right.
And you come in this Boston sports, fandom. And fuck Scott for a second because Scott said Boston sports is going to eventually go away. It's eventually going to die. Well, guess what? The team just went to the NBA Finals.
Right.
Like, there's always something happening in Boston just in the last 4 years.
That's right.
Like the Red Sox in the ALCS, the Celtics now in the NBA Finals, the Bruins just went to the playoffs, the Pats went to the playoffs last year.
City of winners.
It's always there, city of winners. And I do think Coach Belichick also has talks with coaches that come here as well. I'm sure he has sit downs and says, this is just how I run my operation. And I'm sure him and Ime have sat down at some point and said, hey, this is how I run things. Basketball and football different, but being a coach is kind of linear at some points as well too. So
no, great points. Great points. I think it's truly valid, right? And again, it goes back to who's saying this. Look at their resume, probably a loser that are saying, oh, this is not right. This is not this. It is nice.
And Tatum matured this season.
Yes, he has. I give it to him.
Yeah,
night and day.
He's
remember when he wasn't even driving to the hoop.
He's mentioned that, and he's still sometimes scared.
Yeah,
I think they talked about him for going into game one, how like he's kind of mesmerized and I can't believe it. Like, look behind me, it says finals behind me. That's why game one I kind of chalked it up as a mulligan. Like, all right, you done game one. Now that's why I like him to
get that out of the way
tonight.
Yeah.
Because like now you got to drop 30. You have to make up for that performance if you want to showcase that you're actually the next guy in this league. But he mentioned about leadership and taking responsibility. It's great to see him mature over time.
100%.
Yep.
So I'm going to throw a curveball at you. Ready? Boom. What if?
What? Why? Where?
Are you ready? What if the Boston Celtics sweep? What happens? First question. Al Horford is guaranteed $29 million, right? Are they going to bring Al back?
Yes.
Okay. Great answer. Great answer. Who do they get rid of? Who do they pursue? And I know basketball is not our thing, but if we had to look out, we're looking from the outside in, or actually looking inside in, where are the weaknesses? Do you sell?
People are gonna hate this one, but
let's go.
You got to trade Marcus Smart.
Ooh.
And that's not hating on Marcus Smart. It's just like, look at his value.
I'm trading someone else.
Defensive player of the year.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. And his value is sky high to be the NBA champion. Now, will they do it? Probably not, because it's like he's a heart and soul player, and it would hurt the fan base to see that. But then again, imagine the return you can get off of that as well. And it also could be changing of the guard. It's like, hey, Smart got here and won his championship. Now go somewhere else and be the main guy so you can get paid. Like, Smart could end up being the number one player probably somewhere else and get paid because of that, right?
Okay.
That's the way I look at Marcus Smart. I'm also a little nervous about Rob Williams. They've already attached to him, and I just don't know how his knees are going to hold up.
What did I say? I begged, do not IT him. I understand. Yeah. And that hurts my heart hearing some of these media guys. Put some Toradol, get him out there, do it, whatever.
That's why I'm saying they should rest him tonight. The guy's going to need surgery in the offseason.
It's insane.
He's going to need something done.
Yeah, clean up again.
You can tell, visibly he's limping around.
Yep.
He's not going to last. His career is going to be very shortened.
And we don't want to see that, because I actually think he is one of the big three, to be honest with you.
So, yeah, I don't know, this Marcus Smart being part of the big three.
He's not.
I don't like any of that shit.
Yeah.
If you're going to focus anything on the offseason, it's big man. It's your center. It's your power forward, your Al Horford replacement, or your Rob Williams replacement even, because Rob Williams ain't lasting you too long. I would love for this team to now, again, like I said this before, sell out to buy into the team. And now imagine that, sell out Marcus Smart, sell Rob Williams together.
I'm selling the other Williams. I'm keeping
Williams.
Grant's out of here. I think Grant right now has a huge value.
But imagine, Cliff, you get a Karl Anthony Towns on this team.
Right.
And you have Karl Anthony Towns, Brown, and Tatum. That's all you need. And then get those pieces around it that they will find, Brad Stevens and Ime, and they'll find those pieces and work that together. That's your core of your team right there.
We like to gamble. Let's gamble with let's gamble with Time Lord. Time Lord is not a regular piece. I think. You know what they need to do to Time Lord? Send him to TB12. Okay?
Yeah.
Is that still over there in Foxborough?
It is.
Okay, send him over there. Okay?
You know what else I'm worried about too is when you win a championship, it's how you act.
Ooh.
So a guy like Time Lord or a guy like Marcus Smart might win a championship and say, that's it for me. I'm done. I just hit my plateau.
No.
Guys like Jaylen Brown and Tatum hopefully are saying we're hungry for more.
We're just starting.
And you want that. Some people win one and that's it for them. Just similar to some people secure the bag and then that's it for them. They're done. They're over with. They don't try as hard anymore. So I'm interested to see who's still hungry on the team. Because guess what? This team ain't going to always stay together.
No,
they're
not.
Players, they're going to be always changing.
Which is why I think, because Robin Williams is what? I mean, no, Grant Williams. He's in, year 3?
Yeah, he's young.
Perfect time perfect contract. Yeah. I'm telling you, because he's going to want some money. Because he's already behaving like a diva. Yeah. That's just my thought. I got one more question for you. All right. So you were at the game. I saw your celebration. What if the Celtics had lost that last game?
Game 7 against Miami?
Yes, sir.
Biggest choke job.
Really?
Biggest choke job. In terms of choke jobs in Boston Celtics history, it'd be top 3. It's a choke job, Cliff. You're up 3-2 in the series with the chance to clinch it at home, and you can't do it at home, and you couldn't do it on the road, and they almost lost that Game 7.
Yeah.
Butler hits that shot. I don't think the Celtics were ever going to score.
Nope.
So it would have been a humongous choke job. It would have been a humongous wasted opportunity for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, that hurts.
You know what? It's like you were down 3-2 against the Bucks. You had to crawl back and you win that. And this Miami Heat series was just so one-sided every game.
Yep.
Game 5 was fun. It just, you had the advantage on your side. You should have closed it out. And you couldn't. It would have been a huge choke job. And I think it would have set the Celtics back. Because you still
100%.
never got over the hump.
Yep,
you still never got over that hump, and I really think it would have set the team back a lot.
I agree with that.
The expectations change a lot, bro.
Constantly.
Like how about the Patriots when they win 7 straight games?
Yep.
And then at that time, it's it's Super Bowl or bust now.
Yep.
And then they lose against the Colts. It's the best now you're going to do is AFC title game. Then you lose the next week. No, best is probably just making the playoffs at this point. Your expectations are always changing.
All right.
Some people are saying, if you said at the season, like in November when they sucked.
Yep.
And you said, hey, you guys are going to go to the Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, but you're going to lose. You've been happy at the time.
Right.
Wow, we're going to make it that far and
Like,
go to
hell
Game
yeah.
7. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
But then when your team gets red hot,
You want it
and then
all.
you go to Game 7 and you lose, you'd be like, wow, this was a disappointment.
Yeah. Human nature.
Yeah.
Human nature.
I think
But-
it would have been a choke job, though.
Okay. But you know what? There was one guy, because I seen his ticket, who believed.
It-
This guy here.
Yeah. I want to go back real quick. Sean Grandy, I was listening on the way home. It was Game 5. And Sean Grandy is on the radio after they win and talked about 10 years ago prior to that, the Celtics went into Miami, won Game 5, 2010. And they said, but there was a guy named LeBron James who came up to Boston